Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Today is Friday, so I'll kind of run you through my Friday protocol and I'll show you how I'm going to analyze the markets this morning. I have some things already marked up on my charts, so we'll go through them before the market opens this morning, and then we'll look to see what kind of damage we can do in the market today. So let me just show you the economic calendar. So this is what I'm looking at when I say economic calendar. I use forexfactory.com. So today is Friday. We have news at 9:45. Nothing that is high impact. A yellow folder is low impact. So we have PMI and services PMI, manufacturing and services PMI this morning. So what I would like to see that be used as is rocket fuel for something at the open, or to potentially create a setup where it hits a liquidity point and then rejects that. So this could be something to play on in the morning session. The other thing is that there's a setup called TGIF for Fridays, where there can be a retracement back into the weekly range. So if I go into a daily chart here, you'll see obviously I have some levels marked. I'll make this larger. Excuse sneezing this morning. TGIF. So if we have a range, here is Monday's trading, here's the rest of the week's trading. What we would like to see is a retracement between 20, 30, and 40%, which are the lines that I have marked here. Here's 40%, here's 30%, here is 20%, and we'd want to see that happen on Friday. So we have traded into the 20% mark. We've just barely missed the 30, and then obviously the 40 is clear up here. So since we've already retraced, I know that we are in TGIF territory. It's just what does it look like in the morning session. Going down to a 15-minute chart, we have some relative equal highs right here that I'm going to mark out. These two highs right there and there, they're relatively equal. And since we're taking out some liquidity before New York Open, that's something that I want to watch as well. I have midnight New York opening price marked. And one thing that is catching my eye is something down here. Ever since the market closed, we've kind of been on this 45-degree angle here, and we didn't quite reach this weekly imbalance that we have up here, and that might be enough for our TGIF setup, where it's taking out this liquidity that's over here. It doesn't quite need to get up to this one, so we may now see somewhat of a retracement down into this range here. Everybody who has been going long since Asia and London session and pre-market session, their stops are getting taken out right now, but we have some lows from London, and overnight we have these relative equal lows, which I really like as a potential target, and it could come down. I'm going to mark this one out as well. Sell side liquidity. Going down to a 5-minute time frame gives us a little bit more details on liquidity. So what we could see is a fake run lower at the open. We've got about 10 minutes. So we could potentially see something where this is the target, and then this is kind of like the fake out where it comes down. People get excited to go short, and then it trades higher. That's a real possibility, as well as today, since it's Friday, I try to be very conservative, especially in August, like I've mentioned in my previous streams. So if I do take a trade, it's going to be a modest risk. It's not going to be pushing it to the limit. So capital preservation is key. And that's something that, especially right now in this time, that I want to be cautious of. I don't want to be pushing it too hard. I'll wait till September, October to see some different price action. Right now, it's kind of difficult. The pre-market session is usually hitting a key level before 9:30 open, whereas usually during the fall months and the spring months, it waits till 9:30 to do that, and then it will reject that level, use it as a stop run, and then scream either higher or lower for the daily range. So that is usually happening now in the pre-market session, which is like 7 to 9 a.m. So we kind of have to wait for our setups. It doesn't usually happen right at 9:30. It waits till 10 o'clock, 9:50 or so, or it can happen around the end of our session, which is around 10:50 to 11 o'clock. So we'll see what we get here open. I don't have an initial bias. I'm not biased bullish or bearish right now. I just want to wait and see what the chart tells us and analyze it as it's going real time. I'm going to load up our account here. All right, we're ready to go. I'm just analyzing some of the chart here. I have a little piece of paper that I go through every morning. It's nothing special, it's just kind of like a flow chart of pre-market analysis. We don't have any news today around 8:30. Nothing crazy. Really, the only thing that we have is relative equal lows is what I look for, is either Asia lows that we have resting right here, and we have these as well, or we have pre-market session highs. So between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Let's go to a 1-minute chart. Let's get a measurement real quick. We're going to measure from 8 o'clock, 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So where is 9 o'clock? Right there. So it's got to go the opposite direction. There we go. Nice. This is going to have everybody chasing. I like that. This is going to have everybody chasing price going lower. And this is intel for me that this is most likely a fake out. What I would like to see is a fake out. It'll come down. It'll sweep out this sell side liquidity that we have marked out here. Come down here, and then we could potentially see it trade all the way back up to these relative equal highs at open. I like that idea. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining up levels. I mentioned this in my previous stream, I believe. I'm taking a measurement of timed price action. So I'm taking from 8:30 to 9 o'clock, and I'm taking a measurement of that. What this does is it gives me standard deviation levels for this timed range. And what this is going to do is it's going to help me identify liquidity for the first 30 minutes of trading. So between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, this is helping me identify targets for liquidity. So we have sell side liquidity here. We got a sell side liquidity here. How far can it go? Well, it can go here. It breaks down below, so it breaks below this one. So the next logical area for it to trade to is here. After it trades through here, the next logical level is to trade to this liquidity that we had marked out earlier as far down as here. So I like this idea. 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock is trending, so I like this. We may get some chop during the open, but we're going to be patient and wait for our setup. This is another thing that's been happening often is the pre-market session is usually trending, meaning it's going in either one direction or the other, and we can use that to our benefit, where we can take a measurement of that range and identify trading opportunities for long and shorts. I won't do that just yet. I want to see what it does at open. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left. One thing I do want to look at is I'm going to make this like that. Nice. If we look at a 3-minute chart, as soon as this closes, that could be a potential entry. I don't want to do that just because sometimes 9:30 can be wild, and I don't really like that it's a super extended candle. If I was to take a long, let's say right there, my stop would be about 50 points and my target would be about 60, 63, something like that. I don't know if that's worth it for me, especially if this just keeps on climbing higher. That's too much of a risk for me. See how it came to this level? It didn't quite trade to this level and it rejected it. That's a really good sign for bullishness. I want to see what it does with this. And we've got like 20 seconds left. My nose is itching. Let's see what it does here. Yeah, there's our 9:30 open. Nothing to do yet. I'm not going to chase price higher or lower. But I do have my finger on the trigger. So now that it took out this low, I like to see it trade to this London low that we have right here. If it trades down to this low that we have, I'd like to see it do basically what it did here, where we have our liquidity line and then we get a reject candle like this that trades above it. That's what I would like to see, and then see it trade up into here. We've set initial buy side for the session right here. That's a liquidity pool. Everybody who was chasing that longer is placing their stop loss right there, or anybody who is going short is placing their stop loss right there, and they're thinking that this is gonna dump, which it very well could go straight down, and there's nothing we can do about it. We'll see if it wants to get animated and keep trading below that. I'm gonna mark out our 1 minute fair value gap here. The first one at the open, which is here. It's our first fair value gap. That could potentially be an inversion level if we trade above this sell side liquidity line. Now it's just a waiting game. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't have an initial bias, so nothing to do yet. We have our levels calibrated. We know where everything is resting, where everything is. We're just waiting for a confirmation from the market that it wants to either go higher or continue lower. My model requires a sweep of liquidity, so that means that it has to go below or above a level and then reject that. So rejecting in my model is that it has to trade back above this liquidity line. So if we get a green candle that trades above it, and closes above it, let's say it closes right here, then I would look to go long, and we could target here or here. But until that happens, we don't have anything yet. We're now hitting midnight opening price, and we could just go straight down to these Asia lows. The market could just take off. I don't expect that to happen. I would really like to see it start moving up to those relative equal highs that we have marked out. I think that there will be a bullish move in this morning session. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's what I would expect. We've seen the bearish move, which I was thinking that we would get down to those sell side liquidity pools. If it just keeps on going, we'll see what we get at around 10 o'clock. It's only been a couple minutes, but it's moved a considerable amount since we've opened up. From about top to bottom, about 140 handles, 135 handles. That's a lot in the first 5-6 minutes. Just kind of put this in the middle of my chart here. We can't do anything until the 3 minutes shows us a signal. So nothing to do yet. Now that we've moved below midnight opening price, it's in a sell model. That means the price is bearish. So if we can get a close below midnight opening price, that means that it's just going to keep on going. So if this candle closes below that purple midnight opening price line, then it's just going to continue lower towards that sell side liquidity pool that we have marked out from Asia session right here, this red line. So that's what I would expect to happen. We'll see what happens here. Kind of a boring morning. Nothing at the opening. So it's just waiting for something to happen now. We're locked and loaded. We've got our account set up and ready to go. So if there's a trade that happens, I will take it. Obviously, I'm going to be a little less risk, put a little less risk on the trade just because it's Friday. So I'm not looking to use my full leverage amount. We'll deleverage, take either a smaller loss or a smaller win on a Friday. I like that. I don't want to go out on Friday and take a huge loss going into the weekend. That sucks. So I'd rather just take a small loss or a small win on Friday and call it good. So looking at the chart, so we have this is the S&P 500. This is the chart that we were trading, the NASDAQ. We have these relative equal lows from London session that it's now trading and rejecting. So this got a little animated during the open for NASDAQ, but the S&P 500 futures is looking a lot cleaner in this direction. I like that as a draw as well, so you mark that out as buy side. This is your sell side. I like that. If this candle closes long, I'll look to see if I could take a long potentially. Let's go over to here. Let's look at MES for a second. Still kind of ugly, but I do like this. Keeping my eye on what the S&P 500 futures do right here. I have another chart, so I'm just opening it up, another monitor. I'm opening it up on my other monitor just to take a look at it. There's nothing particular that I like about it other than it took out these relative equal lows right here, and it had a candle, 1-2 candle closes up, so starting to see some bullishness there. I like it when it does that, just a shallow run above it, shallow run below these lows, and then reject that. I like it. NASDAQ's continuing to go lower. So you see this, how it's, these two should follow each other, which they relatively do, until we get right here. NASDAQ is going lower, and S&P 500 is starting to show some bullishness right here. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I'm looking at this wick right here. Put quadrants on it. I'm looking to see how it respects the 25% level, 50, 75, and obviously if it's bullish, we don't want it to go below that 0 line. So I'm watching that pretty closely. See how we close on this candle. See how NASDAQ is still going lower and S&P 500 is starting to go higher. I like that. As a bullish signal. On a 1-minute chart on NASDAQ, we have this. This can be our inversion fair value gap. See how this candle, if you noticed when it was trading down here, it just kind of snapped lower and went like this. I like that as a potential buying opportunity. If it closes above that, I'm going to go long. Right there. And I'm going to place my stop loss right there. And my target is this buy side liquidity pool right here. So we're below midnight opening price. The reason why I'm entering this trade, if I'm going to go long, I want to do it below midnight opening price. That's where the best longs are. The best shorts are above it. So if we were going short, we would want to long, or we would want to short above this purple line that we have right here. So we used MES, or we used our S&P 500 as our barometer to trade NASDAQ. The other thing that I like is it came down to this level right here that we had marked open for our 8:30 to 9 o'clock extension level, and it's now rejecting that level. I like that. We've taken out, this is a low right here on a 3-minute chart. We swept that. Now we're looking for this candle closure higher, and I think we're positioned pretty well. The only thing that concerns me is we do have these relative equal lows from Asia, but maybe it's just looking to take out that low right there. That's the only thing that really concerns me about this. And yep, it's going to stop me out. If we can trade back above this, we still have some life, but it's most likely going to go for this lower sell side liquidity pool. Maybe a little early on the entry, but I'm not getting too worried about it. It'll be a minor loss. The stop is there to do its job. I'm not moving it around. It's a set level. If it goes below that, I'm wrong, and that's okay. And it's just about there. If it wants to take out my stop, it'll do it probably right now or this next candle. We do have this low. It's really interesting. If we get a candle close above this red level that I have right here, that's a sweep below a low, expand and reject that level. If we can get a candle closure up, then I know that I'm on the right side. And as you can see, it almost came down and took my stop loss, but not quite. Precision or luck, up to you. I'm calling it precision, not luck. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I like that. It closed above that low right there. Same at the same time. See how it's just playing with these levels of this right here. This is our S&P 500 futures. It's already come down, taking out sell side. Now it's just playing around with these levels. If it takes me out, it takes me out. There it is. Took my stop loss. That'll happen. I'm not too worried about it. It'll just go to this sell side liquidity pool, and then we can look for the same idea. A retracement back up into this range and use this as like a partial stepping stool area, and then see if it wants to retrace back up into here. We did have news at 9:45. So 9:45 was right here, remember? So I was trying to see if that could use it as rocket fuel. It didn't do it per se. It'll probably push down, and then we'll see if we can get a rejection off of this liquidity, the sell side liquidity that we have marked out. We'll take this off the chart now. It's irrelevant. Same thing with this. And there it hits our Asia lows that we had marked out on our chart. These relative equal lows, it can also go down here, all the way down into our yesterday's low that we made. So we'll see what it wants to do. I'm marking this out as a potential inversion level. If it comes back up here, since there's two levels that it took out, I'm going to take the lowest one, or the highest one off, and leave the lowest one. Same thing, we'll take off this sell side liquidity pool up here. See how it just wicked that level? Very nice. I'm going to go long again. Our stop loss is going to be placed here. Take profit. We're going to take one partial here. And then we'll take another one off here. The reason why I entered is because we've swept this low. We're below midnight opening price, so that's where I want to be longing, taking a long. If it stops me out right here, I'm done for the day. I won't take another trade. I'm just watching to see what it does. Everybody who's been chasing this since the open has been going short. So where are they jamming their stop losses is my thought process. So you have this small pool of liquidity right above midnight open right here. This high and this high on a 1 minute chart looks like this. So you have this very, very small pool of liquidity where people are jamming their stop losses. Then you also have this fair value gap that is above that. So if it's going to go above that, it can go up into here. Since we're just finishing up the opening range, I'm going to take this off my chart, this measurement. You can see that we kind of use these as stepping stools all the way down into here. This is more like an 8 extension level, -8. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take another measurement from the high 30 right there to right there. So what I'm doing is I'm grading this price run. So here's the low, here's the high, and in between these levels are gradients of 25, 50, and 75. So if we can get above this 25% level and have a candle close above it, I like that idea. The next level it's going to go to is that 50, and then 75, and then ultimately come back and close in that entire range. The S&P is starting to move higher now, while NASDAQ is kind of lingering around in this bottom 25%. If we could get a nice little pop up, that would be what I would prefer. If it doesn't, if it's just kind of a slow climb, then I'll look to take partials around this 50% level. And then I'll move this. I don't think it'll come all the way up here. I'll move that down to this first fair value gap as well. I was a little early on the trigger with the first trade, I think. This second one is a lot better since it took that liquidity. It's starting to come down lower. We'll see how it treats this wick. I'm looking at it to stay above 50% of that wick, so about right there, that level. I don't want to see it go below that. And it might take out my stop right here again. Might be another loss. That's fine. MES is going higher, so the S&P 500 is going higher. NASDAQ is kind of just struggling to get up there. I'm going to roll my stop to this. On a 1 minute chart, we swept liquidity right there. I like that. If we can close above this high, create a fair value gap on this side of it, then I'll look to add one more contract. And really, I shouldn't push it. I should take a partial right there. I'm going to set it right above that high. Nothing to cheer about yet. I still think we have bullishness. There is this bullish fair value gap right here. that it can trade into. Can kind of come down into here, wick it, and then move higher. Kind of keep our charts clean. These levels are more for me, not necessarily for you guys and your analysis, but this is how I look at the markets. A lot of things are measured or specific levels, so that's what I'm looking at. My stop loss, I'm just going to place it right at the bottom. It should not come below there, so if it does come lower, I am just going to take a little bit less of a loss. But I would like to see it stay and move higher off of the 50% level, the mid level of that gap, that blue gap that we have right there. I'd like to see it kind of pop up right there. That's a model 2022, ICT model 2022. You have your sweep of liquidity, market structure shift above this high, fair value gap right there. Slow moving. Just kind of building up right here. See if we can get a little more to the upside. This isn't a bad scalp. It's nothing large, but it's 50 something handles all the way up to almost 100 handles here to the first presented fair value gap of the session. Not bad. See how it's just playing with these two levels, the one that I have marked out here and then this blue one. It's kind of just playing with the 50% level right there. I like to see it respect this fair value gap. I don't want to see it trade below it. Very nice. Get a close above that 50% level of that orange box, that orange inversion fair value gap. I'd like that. Let's see what it looks like on our 3-minute chart. I'm not getting too nervous yet. We'll see what it wants to do with this inversion or with this fair value gap. I have a lot of things going for me on this trade. We've swept liquidity. We have a market structure shift on a 1-minute chart, 2022 model, the ICT taught a couple years ago, and we have an inversion fair value gap. I have a lot of things going for me on this trade. It might just not work out, which again, like I said, I'm not worried about it. We can recover from a couple losses on a Friday. So got a little bit of a mohawk going there. Mohawk is a term that ICT uses. Is it's permissible to trade a little bit outside of the line here. But it's definitely not bullish. It's probably going to take out my stop loss right there. Yep. Take out my stop loss. And I'm done trading for Friday. Nothing really spectacular. Our model was there. We just didn't get any profit from it. So nothing that we did wrong. It just didn't turn out the way that we wanted it to. I'm okay with that. I'm not really worried. It happens sometimes. So I'm going to just kind of watch it here, but I'm done trading for the day. We'll see what it wants to do in the next couple minutes and see if there's another opportunity. If there is, I'm not going to trade it. We could paper trade it, but I'm not going to trade it with my live funds. Let's look at what a daily chart looks like. So yeah, big move up. This low right here is probably the previous day low. This is yesterday's low. That's what it's probably going to go for and trade down to. All the way down into here. Take this level and this level off. We just finished the 950 macro. ICT uses time macros. So here's 950 to 1010. This little time window right here. Is what's called an ICT macro. But yeah, nothing crazy. I think it's gonna keep going all the way down into this sell side liquidity right here. I could use that fair value gap as a short, but I just don't want to. I'm not gonna risk more than I've already lost today. Know when your loss is enough. Today I told myself I wasn't gonna take more than 2 trades, so I'm gonna hold myself to that and take a loss going into the weekend. It's not crazy. It's not a huge loss. So we'll take it and we'll run with it. A small loss going into a weekend is way better than a huge loss. I can go into Monday feeling fresh and ready to go and not feel like I need to make up, ground on Monday that I lost on Friday. So it's about making money and not losing money. So we're going to take our loss and we're just going to leave it right there. Preserve our capital as much as we can. I'm going to mark out 1030 right there. Sometimes you'll see a little bit of a retracement higher around 1030 if the first hour of trading has just been kind of one directional as it has been, then you can see a retracement usually at 930. I'm going to put some standard deviations. Yeah, look at how that 0.25 level of our opening range lines up perfectly 1 or 2 ticks off of our sell side liquidity that we have marked out right here. If you're watching, let's hear you in the chat. Good morning. If you're just joining us, we took 2 trades already. Both of them were losses. My protocol for Friday is we don't take any more than 2 trades. First one, if the first one is a loss, then we're allowed to take another one. If the other one is a loss, then we are done trading for the day. So following my rules, we took 2 losses already. So I am finished trading for the day. And we're just kind of watching the charts to see what it does right now. If there is a trade that happens, I'll paper trade it, meaning it won't be live funds, but we'll still get the practice in. You'll still see me follow the execution rules and everything like that. Taking a look at the S&P 500 futures, we have an SMT forming, meaning on the higher time frame chart, see how S&P is going higher where NASDAQ is going lower? That's a signal of the S&P 500 being stronger towards the buy side direction, towards the up direction, and the NASDAQ is slower to be bullish. So this is an opportunity right here. We're going to paper trade this. Since we took out this sell side liquidity right here, we have a SMT with the NASDAQ. We'll see if it wants to come down into this little area of price action right there. Get into that fair value gap. We just finished up a macro time. A macro is when price should begin a move or do something to start price moving in a certain direction, which we did. We took out liquidity here. This red line that we have marked on our charts is liquidity from clear over here. So we have that marked out as sell side liquidity, and we also have this marked out as sell side liquidity. It's close to this one, so I don't want to take a trade. I want to see if we can get down into here. I don't want to see it reject from here. Take this off my chart. If we can trade above this level, this orangish level that I have marked out here, if we can get a candle closure above it and then kind of come back and touch it, then I could go long there. But other than that, we're just watching price now. See what it's gonna do. Come back and touch that level. I like it. We're just paper trading this, so it's not live funds. It's fake funds, but it still gives us the good practice. We'll go right there. I don't think it's gonna go lower. I think it's gonna go higher to these highs right here. Up into this area. We're gonna place our stop just below the low of this candle by 1 tick. Put this so that it's a little bit larger. Again, this looks big just because I increased the size of it, but that's 60 points and our take profit is 63, so it's about a 1-to-1 win ratio, win to loss ratio. Again, this is a paper trade, so it's not live funds. It's more of just practice. We're just reaching 10:30 now. Oops. And then our target's right there. I like that it just came down and touched that. If we could close bullish here, that's a good sign that it's going to continue going higher. The order flow is starting to change from bearish to bullish, starting to respect these levels. You can see it came down, touched this. I would have liked to get in here, but I wanted a little bit more confirmation, so I waited for a candle closure above this level, which is what we got. Got a little bit of a retracement, came down, touched it once, twice, three. This is 4 times now. I really liked how this one just kind of popped down and closed even just a little bit bullish. I'd like to see this continue up towards these highs, this high, and then these relative equal highs where people have jammed their stop losses going short. I really don't want to see the stop come all the way back below the 50% level of this gap. That's a long ways to travel downwards and deal with drawdown. So I don't want to see that. So that's why I'm trailing my stop loss to that level. As if price is really going in my direction, it shouldn't go below that level. We'll see how this candle wants to close. It'll give me more intel on what price is likely going to do. If we can close above the 50% level of that orange line, I'll feel a lot more confident that it's going to continue higher. If it doesn't, if it just keeps going lower like it is right now, then it's most likely going to go down, hit my stop loss, which is fine. This is a paper trade, so it's not affecting me monetarily. This is more of just practice. Fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. Man. I don't think that it's going to continue going higher. It could, but where we just had this candle wick kind of lay over the top of that gap, that level, it's most likely going to continue lower. That's not a bullish signal, that's more of a bearish signal. A lot of just back and forth right here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to add one more. If we can stay above that orange level that I have indicated, I like that a lot. Since we just had this big candle lay over the top of it like that, I like that as bullish, as a bullish signal. If we can respect that 50% level like we are doing right there, that's even more confirmation. If we can get some push up to the upside here towards these highs right here, and then these ones are where I'm really interested in. If it's going to take out this one, it's going to take out these ones. Everybody's jamming their stop losses right here that's gone short throughout this whole run. So the market at some point has to rebalance. This is a great time for it to rebalance. We've finished the first hour of trading. It's almost the end of the session. It's almost 11 o'clock. We're about 20 minutes away. So Eastern time, everything that I'm referring to in time is in Eastern time. But if we can get another nice little push up, I would really like it. See it go for those highs. I'm going to move my stop loss just a little bit higher, just based off of a time. So I really don't want to see it go below this level right here. So I'm placing my stop loss just below that level. That's weird. Had my stop loss right here, but it took it out when it was right here. It shouldn't have done that. It didn't even hit my level for a stop loss. I don't like that. Yeah, that was really strange. I don't like that. But at any rate, these highs right here are what I'm targeting. Those ones right there. It's really weird. It took me out and it didn't even go to my stop loss. I don't like that. See what that looks like. This is just a potential trade up into these highs right here. That's 40 handles, something like that. See if we can get a push up into that. Nice. Oops. There we go. Yeah, there's not much really to look at. It's kind of just going sideways now. I think I'm gonna call it a weekend right there. There's really nothing to see on the charts. We took 2 trades. They didn't work out for us on a Friday. Protocol was take 2 trades. If they're both losses, then stop or paper trade it if I feel the itch to trade again. And that's what we did. We took 2 trades with our live account. They were both losses, and we wanted to see it reject off of a sell side liquidity pool, which it did. It just didn't give us a movement higher that we could profit off of. So yeah, we'll just pick it up on Monday and we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your time. We'll see you on Monday. We'll stream at the same time. Stream will start at 7:15 and hope to see you there. Thank you. Have a good day.